For the longest time, I hated the 122 TM. Its DPM felt awful, especially in fast games. But then I discovered something. And now I am convinced this is the strongest medium in the Bond store. And in this video, I'm going to show you why. It's interesting that one of the best and the worst parts of 122 TM is in its gun. Let's start with the positives and compare them to other tier 8 mediums. First, we have the third highest damage per shot, after Chimera and Nemesis. Second, we have the best standard penetration. Third, incredible shell velocity on APCR rounds. And the only negatives here is awful DPM. Of course, I am going to show you how to get around it, but be careful, because you might fall in love with 122 TM after that. So yeah, like for me, this is perfect, especially if I'm fighting tanks that don't have laser gun handling to be able to shoot with my cupolas. I want to be fighting tanks that have long aim time, and then I will be just outplaying them despite having big cupolas. This game has just begun, but we already have over 2000 damage. And we've got so much because of our crazy alpha damage and armor. Here's the thing, the gameplay of most mediums is mostly around punishing enemies for their mistakes. This means tanks with the greatest DPM can only be effective in specific situations. However, relying on the armor of 122 TM, we can do damage whenever we are ready to shoot. And now, pay attention at this. We just killed the RT and now we are on long reload. What we do? We try and bait the shot off of the Tiger. So by the time we are ready to shoot, we can punish him for free. Unfortunately, he penned me in this situation, but the mentality, the idea is right there. The reason why I like 122 TM is because you create opportunities. I can just go, guys. He's never gonna pen me. Oh, look at this. My man came back all the way around. 122 TM has not so great gun handling, but it makes up for it with the good accuracy and -8 degrees of gun depression, which is quite unusual for a Chinese medium tank. But the best part about this tank is its armor, and this is what you are going to see looking at it with the standard ammunition of Brask. Of course, the story is different once you are shooting gold, but you can side scrape with this medium and play cooldown. Of course, we expose our huge cupolas, but while side scraping, if you turn your turret like this, the cupola is going in the cover, and now you can check the corners, bait enemies into shooting, and peek after that. So, we have a great armor and a good gun, but we pay for it with our mobility. Once you look at its effective top speed, you will notice the 122 TM really struggles on medium or soft terrain. To fix this, I recommend training the driver with the cruise skill of road driving. Make sure you grab it as soon as your second cruise skill, right after repairs. After this bounce with APCR, I decided to switch to heat rounds. Heat rounds are perfect to shoot at sloped armor because it ricochets less. This is the first heat round that we loaded in this battle, and I hope it goes to show you just how reliable standard ammunition in same tier matchmaking really is. And if you are looking for a tank to farm credits with, perhaps this is the one. 4.4k damage. This was what we call easy peasy. And here's the moment I learned about the shell velocity of 122 TM. Wow! 1500 meter shell velocity! You gotta be kidding! We started off kind of nicely, being top tier against tier 7s. But how does this tank hold against tier 10s? Let's find out. I love starting my games on live oaks in this position, to punish crossing heavy tanks for free. Unfortunately, because of my disastrous reload, I am missing opportunity to try and punish enemies second time. This can be really triggering. Should I come here with tanks like Lance NC or Progetto 46, I would definitely have at least one or maybe even two shots of damage. But the question is, would you have the balls to go and fight tier 10 heavies with a tier 8 medium? With 122 TM, you can. But you have to do it smart and fight on your own terms. That's why, after I noticed that I am alone in the city, I decided to go back. Having extremely long reload times, I want to have enough distance between me and the enemies and preferably have cover by the teammates, so that I'm not easily vulnerable while I'm on reload. What if I would play here? I know there is double RT, but maybe I can stay here. Seeing as my teammates on this flank playing more or less in the same position, I decided to create a crossfire. This position is just perfect for me. I can always go back in cover to go on the long reload. But what's the most important is that we have the 57 heavy and even 100 covering our butt. I want you to pay attention how I am moving with my huge cupolas on top against tier 10 heavy. Yo! Where did that go, guys? He's being smart. Guys, what a medium. I'm taking the fight against tier 10s. Comfortably. And here's minus 8 degrees of gun depression. Come in clutch. Another thing that I haven't mentioned yet is the camo of 122 TM. To me, it's always surprising when a medium tank that has a lot of armor also comes with a good camouflage. I was quite surprised to learn that this tank has better camo than Progetto 46. Like what? So far we played safe, but now is the time to use our HP and trade it for damage. Alright, 3k damage, guys, against tier 10s. I did shoot only gold, basically, but that should be understandable. Usually, maybe you would run away on the distance with the medium, but we were fighting the heavies. Kinda insane. If you decide to spend 8,000 bonds to get this tank because it fits your playstyle and you want to have a reliable credit maker, I recommend you play this tank with turbo, gun rammer and stabilizer. Once you open your field mods, you can play this tank with the commander vision system, optics and stab. We want to keep stabilizer in this build in order to be able to do damage, because as you can see here, the bloom is quite tremendous, even with the stabilizer. So you want to keep it in all of your builds in order to be able to connect shots easier. And here is my field mods recommendation. Top by the damage, top by experience. Wait, we did make a fair amount of profit though, on top of all the gold spam. Nice. 122 TM is very comfortable tank to play. We have incredible armor for being a medium and an insane gun. Because of this, I think it's very easy to play, and I would absolutely recommend it to new players. It will teach you how to side scrape properly, and over time you should get comfortable to play with 122 TM in close combat. in the process you will make millions of credits with it, because you have the best standard pen of all tier 8 mediums. But 122TM has one drawback. Since it's Chinese, you will be training crews for Chinese mediums, and trust me, it's a nightmare for new players. They burn a lot and their gun depression is awful. That's why if crew training is important for you, I would actually recommend looking into Object 252U Defender, that has similar playstyle but has better armor. With the Object you will be training crews of Soviet tanks, almost all of which are strong. And as a matter of fact, my favorite tank is IS-7, so you can't go wrong about it. If that sounds more like your path, I would recommend you check out my Defender rating. With that said, thank you for watching, and we are going to see you in our future uploads. Subscribe not to miss those.